Hi, welcome back to Housing Happenings with Holly. I'm Holly Waxman with Hague Partners in 72 Soul. We have Ryan Nelson here with AmeriFirst Financial, and we have Dirk Swift here with the Home Plus program, down payment assistant, and Adam Dahlberg.
Hello. So we spoke about the Home Plus program in our previous episode, and I mean, just what a fantastic opportunity for buyers to get some down payment assistance. It's not the old dreaded misconception that these people have no money, they're broke, these are Section 8 buyers. This is just a program out there to help people create the American dream. And so it used to have a stigma on it, I would imagine, at some point, right? It might still have a stigma on it, but Dirk, went through it, and it's not the poor trying to buy a home. It's anybody that can qualify for this program. And you said 3 pillars. What are those 3 pillars again?
We have a borrower income limit of $122,100. That's the annual borrower income. Mm-hmm. So the borrower's combined income 1, 2, 3 have to be under that $122,100. They have to have a minimum credit score of 640, and they have to take one of the homebuyer education courses through one of our approved providers.
Gotcha.
Other than that, they have to qualify for a mortgage. So to your point, they have to qualify for the Fannie Mae guidelines, the FHA, whatever they're looking to obtain. They're just as good credit quality as anybody else. They're just simply lacking down payment or enough down payment that we provide the assistance for.
Gotcha.
So they have to pay the money back.
They could. The terms of the assistance is provided in what we call a soft second lien. And it's soft because there's no payment and there's no interest rate. But there is a forgiveness term. And after a certain period, once it's fully forgiven, they don't have to pay it back. If it's within the forgiveness term that they sell the house or refinance, they would have to pay the unforgiven portion back.
Okay.
And generally that's over 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So total forgiveness after 36 months in the home. That's fantastic. Yeah. Now, after that's done, that lien gets taken off the home. They can sell it, and there's no payback. It's just if they sold the home, let's say after 2 years, 2/3 of it would be forgiven.
Correct.
And they would have to pay back that third.
Exactly.
And then you were mentioning that there is a limit to the combined income, the household income. Let's say both people, if it's husband and wife on a loan, their total combined income has to be under $122,100. But there's no limit to a minimum or a maximum really for the amount that you would issue on the home, right? So they could buy a condo and use this. They could buy a single family home. They're just kind of limited as to what they would qualify for because of their income level. But there really is no limit because the amount that you offer is a percentage of the mortgage amount, correct?
Correct. The assistance is based on the first mortgage balance. We do not restrict a cap on the amount of assistance. We do not restrict on the cap on the purchase price of the home. It just mathematically equates or takes care of itself based on that $122,100 income limit. And not to get too precise, but one of the misperceptions is the word household income. And so we use borrower income. So you have one borrower on the loan, it's again $122,100. If you have a spouse that is working but is not a borrower on the loan, that income doesn't count because we don't count household income.
Got it. Okay.
We count borrower income because that's what the mortgage qualification does, and that's what we try to follow. When in doubt, follow it as closely as we can as normal mortgage rules.
Fantastic. Now, to get signed up for this, there's 2 things to do for a borrower or a buyer. A is talk to a great lender, right? So obviously, you want to give Ryan a call, and he would introduce you to this program. You have a website, and what is that website?
It's homeplusaz.com. It's written for a consumer. It's a wealth of information there about the program. It has some supporting information for the consumer that's looking to buy the house. We have a realtor tab. We have co-branded marketing material for our partners in this that want to use it, et cetera. It'll list the homebuyer education courses or providers, et cetera. So it's all out there. I have a number of videos on there. If someone doesn't want to look too much and just wants to simply click one of the 46 videos that are 60, 90 seconds that answer questions, et cetera, it's very user-friendly.
Beautiful.
I've had some buyers that were able to utilize this program and they bought the home with no money down. So
It was a few years back. I got a little bored, and I went through. I still call them HUD ones, but I went through a number of them, about 55, to see exactly how much somebody actually put out of their pocket, and the average was $814.
That's fabulous.
And they're probably putting more than that with the earnest money anyway.
Right.
So they're probably getting a little something back. But.
And if they would go rent something, they'd putting a lot more than that. First month, last month, cleaning deposits.
Exactly.
You're pretty much like an apartment complex's worst nightmare, out there, right? So that education course should be marketed to every potential renter that's looking online at, rent.com or on Zillow for rentals, that are looking and moving into these condo rentals, apartment rentals. It's going to cost significantly more money, sometimes infinite amount if it's only zero out of pocket. But even if you use that $800 number as an average, I can imagine the average apartment renter is putting down first and last month plus some moving fees, right? Apartments that are opening up in Gilbert right now are $2,800 a month, which is just crazy to me. So, that's a potential savings of $6,000 or $7,000 or $8,000 to buy a home versus renting and putting deposits down for an apartment and building that equity.
Well, and the crazy thing is with most apartments, my understanding is almost every one of them charges an application fee.
True that.
So just to see if they'll accept you as a tenant, they're going to charge you probably on average $100. Mm-hmm. And to see if you qualify for Home Plus costs you $0.
Yeah.
Right.
So do you want to pay $100? I would think it would make a lot more sense to see if you can buy something first. And, as a lender, everybody is going to be able to buy a house. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And that holds true for everybody.
Yeah.
When someone wants to buy a house, there's one of three things that prevents them from buying a house. One is either credit is not where it needs to be to meet a minimum standard. And that can be corrected. Everything on credit is repairable over time. Nothing stays on your credit for more than 10 years. Most things only stay on it for 7. And there's a lot of things you can do to get your credit score to where you need to be. Home Plus is a minimum of 640. Second reason most people can't buy is they don't make enough money. Okay. You can change that. Okay. You can go get a different job. You can go get a second job. You can go get a job. You're making more money. Income is 100% changeable. It may not happen overnight, but you absolutely can make more money. Third thing that prevents people from buying a home is they have too much debt. And you can work on that to get that paid off. So those are the only 3 reasons why someone can't qualify to buy a home. It's either credit, income, or debt. And all those things can be changed very easily. But as a consumer, you just need to have a plan. Yeah. You need to have some guidance as to what you need to do. And step 1 is always the same, just knowing exactly where you sit today and what you need to do to be able to get into a home and be able to qualify to meet the program guidelines and what you need to make or how much debt you need to pay off or where your credit needs to be. And those things are all easy and they're all changeable and nothing is permanent.
Yeah. Wonderful.
And our challenge is always making sure people are aware of this program and the availability of it. So I think I've read recently the National Association of Realtors 2022 Home Buyer Survey or Sediment, et cetera. And the number one hurdle, and listed by 27% of potential buyers, is saving for the down payment. And we had last year the lowest percentage of first-time home buyers, 36% of the market since 1981. So if they don't know this is available, they're not moving forward with other options to see if I can buy versus rent, clean up, et cetera.
So I got a question for you, Dirk. I know some of the different down payment assistance programs that have been available over the years. And I don't know what one of them was called, but I remember years back, there was one that only had so much money available. And once that money was gone, you either got in time and you got it, or you missed out until more funds were available that were replenished by, almost the Arizona Congress, or if you will. There was, some sort of regular interval fiscal quarter that more funds came available. Is there ever going to be an issue with Home Plus on not having available funds to be able to offer the program? I haven't seen that happen, but I don't think you operate that way. But give us some guidance on that. Is this always going to be available, or at least, you've been with Home Plus for how long?
I've been running it almost 9 years.
Okay.
So as I stated previously, we don't receive any taxpayer funds, federal or state. And some of those programs that you brought up, and the one specifically you brought up, received some federal funds. So it was a bucket of money. And when the bucket is gone, there's nothing, the program goes away. We do not fund the program that way. We constantly fund it by selling these transactions, et cetera. So generally speaking, we should never run out of money. It should be continually funding. There's no sunset. There's no budgeting for that we need to receive from any type of political entity. This year has been difficult just in the financial markets, generally speaking, selling mortgage-backed securities. And that's true for down payment across everything else. There has been headwinds that are unprecedented this year that has caused some of the availability. At one point in time, I have 17 down payment assistance options. And some of those headwinds might have compressed that to 6, 12, depending upon the market, et cetera. Once we find the new norm, it will expand back up to that 17, 22, whatever we need to be, one, creative, and two, flexible to help a lot of people.
That's great. And it just sounds like so much benefit to be able to utilize the program and work with Ryan and have us help people find a home instead of renting or living with family. And why not have your own place and stability? And
you have brought it up many times, Holly. It's a wealth generating tool. Aside
Absolutely.
from the benefit of just being a homeowner, it's a wealth generating tool that is powerful to that buyer and that family.
Well,
So a quick question just came to my mind here. That 122 income level, is that just the previous year's tax returns? Or I'm thinking real estate agents that maybe got nuts the last couple of years and made a ton of money, but are going to be broke this upcoming year. How would that affect somebody that's maybe a 1099 employee with fluctuating income?
I do not dictate how the income is calculated. I just have the cap. So income calculations as it relates to profession type, year, et cetera, all follow Fannie, Freddie, FHA type rules. So Ryan would determine based on standard practice of mortgage industry, do we calculate it over 18 months, 24 months? Are we taking year to date, et cetera? I do not dictate or have any specific rules to say you will calculate income this way. You just have to be under the cap and follow normal process and procedures.
is it only for first-time home buyers, or is this just for anybody that,
There is no first-time home buyer rule. There's no restrictions to only be first-time home buyers. I'm not sure if I'm saying that circular or wrong,
right.
but everybody's welcome to use the program, even if they are not a first-time home buyer, and they can also own other real estate and enter the program.
That's great to know.
Fantastic. So you can use this multiple times if you go up in house or go down in house, as long as it's your primary residence.
Potentially. We do have a little bit of guardrails on that you cannot keep coming back within a 5-year period, because it is intended for your house to be your primary residence. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to buy it and then rent it in a year and buy another one and rent it in a year, it's not intended to build someone's portfolio of real estate. Mm-hmm. So I have a couple guardrails in there in this 3 to 5 year period that would prevent that. But for the most part, you can use it multiple times. Yes.
Right. And for your primary residence. Yeah.
Good. That's awesome. Ryan, when somebody comes to you and they're looking to, get a loan, is this a program that most loan officers just recommend, or do you have a kind of a target audience that you would push in this direction?
Well, the thing I look at with someone is, talk to them about their objective, talk to them about, what funds they do have available to put down. And, if they're struggling to come up with the funds to put down, that's one of the big hindrances on people buying a home is you have to have a down payment, no matter what type of loan program you're doing, except if you're a veteran. Then there's no down payment. You can get in with no money out of pocket in regards to the down. But if you're doing a regular conventional loan or an FHA loan, you have to have a minimum of 3% or 3.5%. And standard conventional is 5%, but first-time home buyers, they allow you to go to 3% down. So, the first question in talking to someone is, what funds do you have available to satisfy the two pieces of monies that have to come from you to be able to consummate a transaction, which is down payment and closing costs. Closing costs we're seeing oftentimes covered by the seller now due to the state of the market, and it's definitely a buyer's market, and it's a wonderful time to be able to get that money from a seller to pay the closing costs. In regards to the down payment, it depends upon what the buyer has, and it depends upon their financial situation. And if a buyer is struggling to have enough available monies to put down, this is a very viable option, and we talk about it every time. So it really depends upon the buyer's situation more than anything. If down payment assistance gets brought up as an option, but like Dirk was saying in last week when we talked about it, Home Plus is an option for people that have their own monies too. You don't have to not have the money to be able to use Home Plus, and the only way you can use the program is if you don't have enough to close. You can have your own money and use their money in conjunction with it, which may be a perfect solution for someone buying a house that has the money to put down, but they really need some extra money after they buy the house because of something they have to renovate that's really important to them. Maybe they have maybe they have a family member that is disabled and they have to make it wheelchair accessible, and they're going to have to do some construction to it. And that could be significant costs.
Just basic stuff. Yeah. New carpet and paint. Every house would probably just a refresher, which would be great on the buyer side. You can negotiate that into a lower purchase price, by you saying, hey, well, this house needs some upgrades. It needs to be updated. Bring that principal amount down that you'd finance. Use your great program, get the seller to pay your closing costs, and theoretically you should be able to get into this house with no money out of pocket. And now you can use that savings to make the house a home for you and your family. And
I've been utilizing your program for years as being a Zillow Premier agent. So it's been fabulous for so many terrific clients of mine. And we're so thankful to be able to have you here today and for, teaching us more about it.
Thanks for the opportunity. Like I said, the challenge is always letting people know that it's out there and available.
Yeah, it's an awesome program. Holly, tell people, how to reach you so that, they can, like Dirk was saying, if you want to know more about Home Plus, go to homeplusaz.com. Is that the correct address?
Right. And you can also always contact me at Holly Waxman at 602-388-0319. And Adam and I would be more than happy to help you all. And we would like to also thank you for listening today and welcome you to come back next week and to listen to more housing happenings with Holly. And thank you so much.